A man stumbled inside carrying a limp, pregnant German shepherd in his arms. "Please, she's dying," he cried, his voice breaking. Dr. Harris rushed forward, heart pounding as she laid the trembling dog on the table. Luna's breathing was shallow, her belly unnaturally swollen. Every second counted. As the vet ran the ultrasound, the screen flickered, revealing shapes that made her freeze. This can't be right," she whispered. Something inside the dog was moving, but not like normal puppies. Moments later, Luna let out a cry so deep it shook the room, and what Dr. Harris delivered next would leave everyone inside the clinic speechless. And the entire town in tears. The morning at the countryside clinic began like any other, calm. Warm sunlight filtering through the blinds. The faint hum of equipment in the background. A man stumbled in, his face pale, his arms trembling as he carried a large German shepherd. "Please, she's not breathing right," he cried to Dr. Harris rushed forward, setting her cup aside. The dog's belly was massive, moving faintly with shallow breaths. "How long has she been like this?" she asked quickly. "Since last night," the man gasped. "She's been in labor for hours, but nothing's happening. She's my Luna. Please, you have to save her." They laid Luna on the examination table. Her eyes were glazed, her breathing uneven, her heartbeat faint. Dr. Harris placed her stethoscope on the swollen abdomen and frowned. "Something's wrong," she whispered. She ordered an ultrasound immediately. The screen flickered to life, showing movement inside, but the shapes were strange, overlapping, tangled. Dr. Harris's stomach tightened. "This isn't normal," she murmured. She looked at Luna's weakening body, then at the terrified man. "Get the surgical room ready," she said firmly. "We're running out of time." The clinic lights dimmed as Dr. Harris and her assistant, Emily, prepared for the emergency procedure. The air was thick with tension, the steady beep of the monitor echoing through the room. Luna's body trembled weakly on the operating table, her breath shallow, her heartbeat faint. David stood by the door, hands shaking, whispering prayers under his breath. "Her pulse is dropping," Emily warned. Dr. Harris gritted her teeth, pulling on her gloves. "Not on my watch," she said firmly. "Scalpel." The sharp instrument glinted under the light as she made the incision with careful precision. But what she saw inside made her heart skip. The puppies were tangled together by their umbilical cords, pressing dangerously against Luna's organs. "She's not going to make it unless I separate them," Dr. Harris muttered. Sweat dripped down her temple as she worked quickly, maneuvering through the impossible mess nature had twisted. David's voice cracked from behind. "Please, save her. She's all I have." The monitors blared louder. Luna's body began to go limp. Dr. Harris's hands trembled, but she refused to stop. "Come on, girl. Stay with me," she whispered. Time slowed. Every second felt like a battle between life and loss. The room filled with the steady hum of machines and the shallow sound of Luna's labored breathing. Dr. Harris's hands moved rapidly. Her gloves stained, her focus unshaken. "Clamp. Now," she ordered, her voice trembling but determined. Emily obeyed, passing tools, eyes wide with fear. "Her pulse is dropping again," she cried. "Not yet," Dr. Harris muttered, determination burning in her eyes. With one precise motion, she separated the cords binding the first puppy. She lifted the tiny, motionless body, heart pounding. "Come on, little one," she whispered, gently massaging its chest. Seconds passed, then a weak gasp. A faint cry filled the air. "She did it," Emily exclaimed, tears in her eyes. But there was no time to celebrate. Luna's chest had stopped moving. The monitor flatlined. "No," Dr. Harris whispered. "No, not her." She injected a dose of adrenaline straight into Luna's heart. "Come back to me, girl," she pleaded, pressing her palms against Luna's ribs, pumping rhythmically. David, frozen in the corner, could barely breathe. Then, beep. Another. And another. Luna's heart resumed, weak but steady. Dr. Harris exhaled, tears streaming down her face. "We've got her," she said softly. 2 more puppies were delivered, small, fragile, but alive. Luna's paw twitched weakly toward them, her motherly instinct still burning through exhaustion. Dr. Harris smiled through her tears. "You're not just a fighter, Luna. You're a miracle." The storm of the night before had faded into a calm silence. Dr. Harris sat beside Luna's bed, watching the newborn puppies nestled against their mother. They were alive, but something about them didn't sit right. One had oddly colored eyes, a pale blue that almost glowed. They were quiet, too quiet for newborns. They're not crying, Emily murmured, worry in her voice. Dr. Harris frowned, checking their vitals. Their temperature's off, she said softly. And look at their fur patterns. This isn't normal. David stood behind them, confusion on his face. Are they sick? He asked nervously. Dr. Harris hesitated, glancing at the puppies again. I'm not sure, she said. I'll need to run some tests. Hours later, her phone rang. It was the lab. The technician's voice was uneasy. Dr. Harris, the DNA results are strange. These puppies, they're not entirely canine. Dr. Harris froze. What are you saying? There are traces of altered genetic material, human-linked sequences, the technician replied shakily. The room fell silent. Dr. Harris's mind raced. The scars on Luna's belly, her unusual pregnancy, the fear in her eyes. Someone had done this deliberately. She turned to David, her expression grave. Luna wasn't just a patient, she said quietly. She's evidence of something far darker. Dr. Harris wasted no time. Within the hour, she was on the phone with the Animal Welfare Bureau, her voice urgent. This isn't just a medical case, she said firmly. It's criminal. Officers arrived soon after, scanning the clinic with cautious eyes. Luna watched them quietly, her head resting near her puppies, unaware of the chaos her survival had set in motion. David sat nearby, his hands trembling. I didn't know, he said repeatedly. I just found her by the roadside, near that old warehouse outside town. One of the officers turned sharply. You mean the one on Birchwood Road? David nodded. The man exchanged a grim look with his partner. That's the same site we've had reports about for months. That evening, a task force raided the abandoned warehouse. What they found froze their blood. Rows of empty cages, surgical tables stained with chemicals, and files labeled with serial numbers and animal names. One read Luna. Dr. Harris stood in shock as investigators brought out evidence bags. They used her, she whispered, tears welling up. They experimented on her. The lead officer approached quietly. Your call exposed them, he said. Because of you, and because of her, we can stop this. David knelt beside Luna, gently stroking her head. You didn't just fight for your life, he said softly. You saved others too. For the first time, Luna lifted her head, her eyes calm, knowing, as if she somehow understood. Weeks passed, and the clinic felt different, warmer, filled with life. Luna had recovered beautifully, her strength returning day by day. Her puppies, once fragile and silent, now tumbled across the clinic floor with playful yips. Dr. Harris often caught herself smiling just watching them. They were small, unique, and extraordinary, proof that life could bloom even from cruelty. News of Luna's survival and the shocking discovery spread quickly. People from nearby towns sent donations, letters, and messages of love. She's a hero, one newspaper headline read. The dog who uncovered the darkest secret. But to Dr. Harris, Luna wasn't a headline. She was a symbol of resilience, of love that refused to die. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, David visited with a basket of toys. Luna wagged her tail and nudged him gently, her eyes full of trust. You've done more than survive, he said softly. You've changed everything. Dr. Harris joined them, kneeling beside the mother and her pups. She's teaching them what it means to live, she whispered. Just then, Luna's puppies began gathering close to her, curling against her chest. The golden light from the windows spilled across them, bathing the room in warmth. Luna lifted her head, gazing toward the sunset, as if sensing the peace she'd earned. Dr. Harris felt tears in her eyes. You've done more than heal, she murmured. You've given hope. As the camera pans out, Luna licks her puppies tenderly, the fading light wrapping them in gold. Sometimes the greatest miracles are born from pain. Sometimes a mother's love becomes the force that changes the world, quietly, selflessly, forever. Luna closes her eyes, surrounded by her puppies, a true mother, a survivor, a miracle.